What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Everyday Money. I'm so glad you're here. Now, lately we've been talking a lot about cryptocurrencies, mostly Shiba Inu coin and Dogecoin, and just what those have going on with them right now and in the future. And I think that that's a lot of fun to talk about because it feels like going to the blackjack table for me when I invest in those. Like, I can put a small amount of money in and potentially have a large windfall, but with these cryptocurrencies, I don't have that risk of like instantaneous loss of capital like I do when I'm at the casino. But there are two classic investments that have made millionaires and even billionaires for decades and will continue to do so in the future, and that's what I want to talk about with you today. Because although they're not super hot like crypto is right now, or like the super hot stock of the moment, they are solid bases for you to invest in, and they have that backstop so you can invest in more riskier investments. You can take some gambles on some crypto or make some investments in some of the more established cryptos like Bitcoin and Ethereum, maybe Cardano, something like that. So what I want you to do is invest in smashing that like button for me, and let's get talking about investing in stocks and real estate to grow your base wealth for you for life. Now, stock market gains are some of the easiest money that I have ever made in my entire life. I literally just cram money into the stock market. It sits there and it goes up in value, and a lot of stocks pay a dividend, and a lot of stocks in these funds that I want to talk about pay dividends. And so I just make money by literally doing nothing at all. And the thing about the stock market is that historically, going back hundreds of years, the stock market has always gone up over time. It doesn't matter who's president, doesn't matter if they're Republican or Democrat, doesn't matter what Congress is doing, doesn't matter what your state or local government is doing. It doesn't matter if there is a war, if there's a famine, if global warming is happening, global cooling, doesn't make any difference. It doesn't matter if there has just been a recession, a Great Depression, a dot-com bubble burst, a housing bubble burst, a virus. Every single time over the course of history, the stock market has continued to go up and outpace the gains or the losses that had recently happened in the recent past. And it will continue to go up all the time as long as companies put out more and innovative products that are better and better services and are able to do so in a more efficient fashion over time. Those are the reasons why the stock market is always going to go up, because behind these companies and these stock tickers and whatever, there are real people in there that are really competing with each other, trying to make their product just a little bit better than the competition, trying to get it out a little bit faster for a little bit less price, or give you more value for the same price as they were before. And that is what will keep these companies increasing in value and continue the stock market going up. Just take a look at the difference between the iPhone 1 and whatever iPhone is out at the time of this that you're watching this, and you can see how in a very short period of time these companies have made a lot more value and a lot better products in a more efficient way for them to deliver services to you. On that same product, you can look at the services that are offered through that product. Google, and the way that it has went from a search engine to essentially an everything engine, including what you're watching right now, YouTube, which has become a main media source for a lot of folks out there versus a traditional television. When you think about things like that, and like things like where the car has come from, where the airplane has come from to where it is now, and the time frame that it has gone, in the time frame that has happened in, you can see how the stock market is always going to go up based on innovation. Now, if you've seen any of my other videos, you know that I really like the fire and forget stock play that is the total market fund. My favorite out of all of them, VTSAX from Vanguard. They also have ETF equivalents that you can get into. Fidelity offers some, even down to zero expense ratios. Any of these total market funds offered by any firm are probably going to perform about the same. And what you can expect is just a solid 10% or so return on your money annually. That's the historic average of the total market. And that will put you in a solid base for, you can put that money in there and you're like, I'm going to get 10% over a period of, let's say, 3 to 7 years. It's going to average out to 10%. And that way you can go out and put your money in some brand new crypto that comes out that you think is going to pop up 1,000% or whatever, or some hot stock. There are even more aggressive funds that you can put your money into, such as, for example, like the ARK Innovation Fund and some of the other funds that ARK offers. Those will not necessarily have the safety of the total market fund, but they oftentimes have much larger returns. There are also plays in individual stocks to be made. For example, like Apple. If you would have purchased Apple stock in 1981, it has had about a 116,000% increase in value since then. And so if you would have put $1,000 into that stock in 1981, it would now be worth in 2021 about, I think, $1.16 million. And so you can make plays in individual stocks that are going to go up a tremendous amount over time. Like, for example, also like Tesla or Amazon. These are companies that are really providing a lot of innovation to the world, to the marketplace, and thus end up going up in value quite a bit. Now, if you're still here with me, be sure to smash that like button and let's talk about one of my favorite investments, and that's real estate. So if stocks are some of the easiest money that I've ever made, real estate may be some of the hardest money that I've ever made, but with the greatest reward. And listen, I love real estate. I love everything about it. I like houses, building materials, working on houses to an extent. The relationships that you form between contractors, real estate agents, tenants, it's just a really great investment and just industry to be in. I really like it. But the thing is that real estate has turned thousandaires into millionaires, and it's turned millionaires into billionaires. Some sources say that 90% of the millionaires created in the last 2 centuries were made through owning real estate. And now I don't know if that's true. I didn't do a ton of fact checking on it because I'm sure that there's probably been tons of people that made millions in business or in the stock market or whatever, but it's done very well for me. For example, I put a $7,900 cash investment into a real estate company that I run with 2 partners, being my wife and my dad, and through using that to buy investment property, sell it, rent it, etc., I have now purchased a cabin in Gatlinburg to use as a second home and a short-term rental for $525,000, and I still have $80,000 left over for reserves and to look for another investment to make. I have not put in 1 cent more than $7,900 into this entire venture. So that's how well it can pay off. Now, real estate investing can be a whole slew of things. It can be long-term rentals. It can be short-term rentals. Those are your Airbnbs, your VRBOs, HomeAway, etc. Flipping wholesale, commercial real estate, industrial real estate, land development. There are a lot of aspects of investing in real estate. But my experience in real estate has essentially been being a residential landlord. I've been in the long-term real estate investment space, the traditional landlord, renting apartments, renting single family homes, since 2013. And I've been in the short-term real estate investment space, which is Airbnb, VRBO, like I just mentioned, since about January of this year. We've been looking into it for a lot earlier than that, but we just recently got into it in January of this year for the much higher gross returns. There are 4 streams of income really from any real estate investment. And the first comes in rent, and that's pretty self-explanatory. You get money in from renting out your space. The next is in mortgage pay down. As you pay off the mortgage, presumably with part of the rent that you've received, that ends up paying down your note. And so you can either sell the building and get that money out of it, or you can refinance it or take a line of credit against it, pull that equity out that has been built up from that note pay down, and get all of it tax-free as well, which is a really unique benefit of real estate. The next is appreciation. In general, real estate in the United States goes up in value. Real estate around the world typically goes up in value unless you are in a area where things are just in decline, such as, Detroit from about 1950 up until basically the present day, although I hear things are turning around up there. But for the most part, real estate appreciates on average about 3 to 3.25%. Now, you may be in an area where it's super high, out in California, New York, in parts of Florida. There's places around the country where you're at much higher than 3.25%. So you are going to get appreciation with your real estate unless you are in some sort of, outlier area. And then on top of that, you get awesome tax benefits. So while your real estate is appreciating in value, you are able to depreciate the building on your taxes, which means that you can take the cost of your building, which should be subtracted from the cost of land because land doesn't depreciate. You can divide that if you're in the residential space by 27 and a half years, and you can take that amount off of your taxable income every single year. So while your building goes up in value, you are allowed to take a depreciation for it because the IRS says that buildings have a fixed life. In addition to that, you can write off every single expense that you have in real estate. If you're paying insurance, if you have to pay utilities, if you have to make repairs, if you have to drive to it, if you have to take airfare, meals related to any business expenses, those are able to be written off against the income that the building makes or the business makes altogether. And so the tax code is very favorable to real estate. But when you get right down to it, the biggest advantage of investing in real estate is leverage. This is the ability to take a mortgage on a building and only put down, 10 to 30% to get access to control this building. Now, you can buy on margin for stocks, but that is a little bit more risky in my opinion. And for the most part, taking loans on real estate is such a normal thing that it's not even outside of the realm of normality whatsoever. Almost everyone has a mortgage, and almost everyone who invests in real estate takes a mortgage on it. And this is the reason why. It's because if you have $100,000, you will be able to buy exactly $100,000 in stock without using a margin account. $100,000 in real estate could purchase you approximately $500,000 to $1 million of real estate, depending on what kind of financing that you're able to get. You can get somewhere between $500,000 and $1 million piece of property. And now if you make a 10% return on your $100,000 stock portfolio, you're going to return $10,000. That's going to be a 10% cash on cash return. That's not bad. 10%, you get $10,000, it's almost $1,000 a month. We're like $800 some dollars a month. Not too shabby. But if you get a 10% return on your $500,000 to $1 million piece of real estate, your return is $50,000 to $100,000, and that ends up making a cash-on-cash return of 50 to 100% of that $100,000 that you have put down. And that is really the crux of why leveraging real estate and the returns that you get on that can just simply crush the stock market because of your ability to take that mortgage and lever that money and get access to a property that is far more than you would be able to get in the stock market. And now those returns don't even take into account the note pay down, the appreciation of the building, and any tax benefits that you get, such as, again, depreciation, write-offs, and what have you, that will drive your returns even higher. Personally, I invest my real estate proceeds into stocks so that I can make that semi-passive income work in the stock market to make me more passive income. But guys, that is for another video. Guys, if you like this video, I would appreciate it if you hit that thumbs up button for me. It really helps me out. The YouTube algorithm helps push this video out to more and more people. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button down there. Grow your wealth, increase your success, put you on the road to financial freedom. I appreciate you guys watching today, and I'll see you on the next one.